You don't need the ladder. You're tall enough to reach them without.
Here, Odie. Remember.
Right in, Ellie. Good job. Hey.
Want to take these? Oh, okay.
Here. Odie. Take the apple.
Hey,
Good
look,
job.
look.
Fist bump. Here you go.
Yeah, it's not like that, Mom.
Good job. Go. Here you go. Oh. Throw it in there. Good job. Fist bump.
Thank you, Emma. A couple of days ago, we went out to an orchard on one of the farms that we lease and picked some apples. So today we are going to make applesauce. You guys ready to make applesauce? You ready, Ellie? So the first thing we're gonna do is peel the apples. And I'm gonna have the girls to cut them up into chunks so we can get them on the stove and to start cooking. A lot of people have fancy things to help them out and they don't have to peel them, but we don't have fancy things like that yet. One day we might.
Yet.
One day we might. But until then, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Another reason I like to do it the old-fashioned way is because this is something that I used to do with my mom when I was little. So I liked being able to just sit around. Usually back then we were out on the front porch. So we would go out on the front porch and peel the apples and cut them up from there. All right, Ollie, can you cut like this?
That's why they have to be just in like tiny chunks like this.
Good job. Not that you can make them bigger than that.
Okay.
You gotta put them in Sissy's bowl. Good job. And a lot of times, if you're not quick enough at this, and when we have the kids helping, sometimes it's a little bit slower process, but your apples will start to brown really fast.
Yeah.
If you don't get them on the stove quick enough. There are several different things that people use. I can remember my home ec teacher teaching us that we could use Sprite or ginger ale, and that would not change the flavor of the apple, but it would keep it from browning. A lot of people use lemon juice, and that's okay too.
Lemon juice and apple juice?
You really can't taste the lemons because after we get them cut up, we're gonna wash them. We'll rinse them
Okay.
to make sure we get them, all the dirt off of them.
Shoot.
And when you join us here in the house, you never know what you're gonna get. Eric and I do have 7 children, and we have 4 grandbabies. 4 of our children still live at home, and most of our local people know that Miss Eliana here has Down syndrome, so things can get a little bit crazy sometimes.
So we are now going to pull the pulp on our apples so they don't brown. How much effort?
Just till you cover it, and then we'll just keep tossing it. So
Okay.
the more apples we add, we'll just keep tossing it around. That should be good.
That smells so good.
Smells so good.
Yeah, it smells really good.
Okay, so we're gonna put, so just toss them there a few times to make sure they're all covered with the Sprite. Okay, it looks good. We'll be back when we get the rest of the apples peeled. We're going to pour our apples into our pan that we're going to be cooking them in. And the cooker is almost full. We're going to continue to slice up the last few apples, and we'll add those as we slice them. I am going to add 4 cups of 100% apple juice to my apples as they cook. And I do this, some people use water, some people use apple cider. I didn't have any apple cider, so I'm just gonna use the 100% apple juice. It's Juicy Juice brand. I don't know if that makes a difference, or I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that. But I'm going to turn my stove on to about 3. I don't want them to cook too fast. I want them to cook slow. So I'm gonna let them cook for a little bit. We started peeling apples about 12 o'clock today. It is now 3:05. I'm not sure how many apples we peeled. I just know that there was a lot. We have 2 pots full and they are still cooking. So we will check back in a few times to see if they're softening up. And I will show you how I prepare my jars. The apples are cooking up nicely. When we first started, the pot was full to the top, so they've cooked down quite a bit. You'll notice there's still some chunks in the pot, and those are still a little hard. So we are gonna stir it up real good and let it cook for just a little bit longer before we see if we need to add some honey to make it a little bit sweeter. Does it smell good?
Yeah.
It smells good.
It smells really good.
Ellie is washing our pint jars. I'm gonna start out by adding about a cup of raw honey. We get this here locally from a gentleman that lives up the road from us. Emma is going to be our taste tester. I had COVID about 2.5 years ago, and I still have not got my taste back.
Hot. Say hot. Just like applesauce. It could use more honey.
Can you taste the honey in it at all?
I can taste a little bit of sweetness.
But you can't taste the flavor of the honey.
No.
So our jars are now out of the oven, and we're going to try to go ahead and put this applesauce in as fast as we can. A lot of people hot water bath their applesauce. I just put it in the jars and then tip it over, and it usually seals without a problem. The next thing that I do is I take some vinegar and use a paper towel to wipe off around the top of the jars to make sure there's no applesauce left. And now it will be ready for the ring. We're finally finished. We ended up with 12 pints and 4 or 5 quarts. There was some things that I left out, I think, during the process. Like I make sure I tap the jars or stir the jars down so there's no air left in the jar. Having the crazy house that we do, it's kind of hard not to forget some things at times. But the house is a mess now, and we got to get to cleaning it, so we'll see you next time.